Did you know that after the age of 60, your muscles can shrink by nearly 40% in just a few short years, even if you're eating well and exercising regularly? It sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? But this is a harsh reality that most older adults never see coming until it's too late. Here's the problem. Many people assume that as long as they eat plenty of meat, fish, or maybe throw in a protein shake now and then, their muscles will stay strong. I wish that were true. In fact, I've seen countless older patients walk into my clinic here in the US, convinced that protein alone was protecting them. But instead, they were getting weaker, losing their balance, suffering dangerous falls, and in some heartbreaking cases, ending up in surgery for a hip replacement. Now, don't get me wrong, protein is important, but it's not the magic bullet. And believing it is may actually be speeding up the problem. Muscle loss after 60, what we call sarcopenia, isn't just about how much protein you eat. It's about whether your body can actually use that protein effectively, and whether you're supporting your muscles in the right way. That's why in today's video, drawing on more than 20 years of experience treating older adults, I want to pull back the curtain on two things. First, the so-called healthy breakfasts that are secretly draining your muscle strength day by day. Etui. And second, the 5 powerhouse foods that can help you fight back against sarcopenia, rebuild lost strength, and feel closer to the energy and vitality you had in your 40s. But before we dive in, I'd love to hear from you. Where are you watching this video from, and how old are you right now? Are you noticing any signs of weaker muscles or more difficulty moving around in daily life? Share your experience in the comments. I'll be reading through them and doing my best to respond personally. Welcome to Senior Health Tips, Healthy Aging. Let's get started. Just picture this for a moment. One small stumble in your living room, one slip in the kitchen, and suddenly you're on the floor with a broken hip. It sounds dramatic, but it's something I've seen far too often. And here's the heartbreaking truth. Most older adults who break a hip never fully get back to the way they used to walk. Some lose their mobility forever. That's why muscle loss isn't just about looking a little thinner or weaker. It's about your freedom, your ability to live on your own terms, to keep doing the things you love without depending on someone else. I know that can feel a little scary, but it's important to understand. Because once you see how dangerous muscle loss really is, you'll realize how powerful it is to take action before it's too late. And here's the part that might surprise you the most. The enemy isn't always what you expect. Sometimes it's not a lack of exercise or even aging itself. Sometimes the very foods you start your morning with, the ones you've been told are healthy, are quietly working against you. Number 1. White bread. It seems so harmless, doesn't it? 2 slices of white toast in the morning, maybe with some butter or jam, and you feel like you've done your part. But here's the hidden problem. White bread makes your blood sugar shoot up fast. And when your blood sugar spikes, your body basically flips the off switch on muscle building. Instead of feeding and repairing your muscles, it has to focus on bringing that sugar back down. I think of Helen, a 65-year-old woman I once met. Every morning, without fail, she had her 2 slices of white toast and a cup of tea. For years, she thought it was fine. But gradually, she started noticing changes. Her legs felt weaker, getting up from the sofa took more effort, and even climbing a few stairs left her breathing heavily. When her doctor checked, it turned out her muscle mass had dropped much faster than expected for her age. Something as simple as daily white bread was quietly working against her strength, and Helen isn't alone. Research shows people who eat white bread regularly lose muscle nearly 25% faster than those who avoid it. That's a big difference. So the truth is, what feels like an innocent, everyday choice might actually be setting you up for weakness down the road. Number 2. Coffee on an empty stomach. For many of us, that first cup of coffee feels almost sacred. The smell, the warmth, the little boost of energy. It's the ritual that starts the day. But when you drink it on an empty stomach, your body pays a hidden price. Coffee triggers a surge in cortisol, the stress hormone. And when cortisol runs high in the morning, it blocks the very hormones your muscles rely on to repair and recover after a night's rest. Instead of fueling your strength, that wake-up cup quietly holds your body back. I think of Robert, a man in his late 60s who prided himself on discipline. Every day he skipped breakfast and went straight for his black coffee. For a while it seemed to work. He felt alert, ready to tackle the day. But slowly, his body started giving him signals. Climbing stairs became a challenge, his legs felt heavier, and even short walks left him winded. What he thought was a strong, healthy habit was actually draining him over time, raising stress inside his body instead of supporting his muscles. It's a reminder that sometimes the things we believe keep us sharp can actually chip away at our strength. And believe it or not, the next breakfast habit is even worse, because it's something most people actually trust as a good protein source for muscles, when in reality, it's doing the opposite. Number 3. Processed meats, sausages, bacon, deli cuts. There's something about the smell of bacon sizzling in the pan that feels comforting, almost nostalgic. For years, many of us have linked those foods with a hearty breakfast. And yes, they do contain protein. But what often gets overlooked are the hidden additives. Processed meats are loaded with nitrates, preservatives, and chemicals that slowly stir up inflammation in the body. And when inflammation becomes chronic, it doesn't just cause stiffness or discomfort. It quietly eats away at your muscles, making it harder for them to repair and stay strong. Nancy, a woman in her early 70s, is someone who learned this the hard way. For nearly a decade, she enjoyed bacon almost every single morning. It was her comfort food, something that reminded her of home. But over time, she noticed a shift. Carrying groceries felt harder, her energy was lower, and her overall strength seemed to fade faster than her friends. By the time she realized what was happening, her muscle mass had dropped significantly, and that daily bacon habit was one of the biggest culprits. The tough truth is this: the very foods we assume are fueling our bodies with protein can sometimes be the ones quietly breaking us down from the inside. Number 4. Oatmeal with skim milk. For decades, we've been told that a bowl of oatmeal with skim milk is the perfect healthy breakfast. Light, low in fat, and good for the heart. On the surface, it sounds smart. But here's what often gets missed. When you strip away the fat, you also strip away your body's ability to absorb fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K. And those vitamins are not just extras. They're essential for strong muscles, healthy bones, and steady energy. Without them, your muscles are left quietly starving for the very nutrients they need to stay alive. Frank believed in this breakfast with all his heart. Every morning he'd sit down with his oatmeal and skim milk, feeling confident he was making the right choice. But over the years, something unexpected happened. His strength slipped away. Tasks that once felt effortless became a struggle. The hardest moment, he said, was realizing he couldn't even lift his granddaughter into his arms without feeling his arms give out. For him, that was heartbreaking. The truth is, what looks perfect on paper isn't always perfect for your body. Sometimes, the very routines we believe are protecting our health are the ones quietly draining it. Number 5. Refined cereal. Colorful boxes of cereal line the shelves, promising energy, convenience, and sometimes even whole-grain goodness. But here's what the labels don't tell you. Most of these cereals are so heavily processed that they've lost much of their true nutrition. One key piece missing is leucine, an amino acid that acts like a spark plug for muscle growth. Without enough leucine, your body struggles to build or maintain muscle. In fact, it ends up breaking down its own muscle tissue just to keep you going. Linda, one of my patients, learned this in a very real way. For years, she thought her daily bowl of instant cereal was a smart choice, quick, light, and not too heavy on her stomach. But as time went on, she felt herself getting weaker. Even simple walks around the block started to feel like a workout. When she finally decided to swap out her refined cereal for more nutrient-rich foods, something amazing happened. Within a few months, her strength began to return. She told me it felt like getting back a part of herself she thought was gone forever. You see, the hidden enemies in your breakfast may have been quietly working against you for years. But here's the good news. Your body is always listening, always ready to respond if you give it the right signals. And the truth is, there are foods, simple, everyday foods, that can flip that switch back on and help you rebuild strength you thought was gone for good. Think of them as your secret allies, quietly restoring what age and bad habits have been stealing away. So let's pull back the curtain and look at the 5 secret foods that can help you not just stop muscle loss, but actually reverse it. 1. Greek yogurt. When most people think of yogurt, they picture a light snack, maybe something you grab from the fridge on a busy morning. But Greek yogurt is in a league of its own. It's packed with leucine, an amino acid that quietly works behind the scenes to keep your muscles strong and responsive. Think of leucine as the on switch for muscle building. It tells your body, hey, don't let go of that strength. Let's keep building instead. Research has shown just how powerful this can be. In fact, older adults who consistently made Greek yogurt part of their diet were able to gain nearly 20% more muscle mass in just a year. That's not from doing extreme workouts or living in the gym. That's simply from giving the body the fuel it's been craving all along. I remember one gentleman, in his late 60s, who started swapping out his usual toast and coffee breakfast for a small bowl of Greek yogurt with berries and a sprinkle of nuts. At first, he didn't expect much, but within months, he noticed his balance improving, his walks felt easier, and even his energy in the afternoons came back. His family told him he looked younger, not because of any cream or supplement, but because he was literally rebuilding strength from the inside out. Here's the key. Timing matters. If you can, enjoy Greek yogurt within 30 minutes of waking up. That's when your muscles are most ready to absorb and use those nutrients after the overnight fast. Add a handful of nuts for healthy fats, maybe some fresh fruit for natural sweetness, and you've got a simple, powerful breakfast that feels more like a treat than a health food. It's amazing how something so small and creamy can quietly protect you from the slow loss of muscle that so many people accept as just aging. The truth is, it doesn't have to be that way. With the right foods, like Greek yogurt, you can start turning the tide back in your favor. 2. Whole eggs. For years, people were told to skip the yolk and stick to egg whites if they wanted to be healthy. But here's the hidden truth. The magic is in the whole egg. The yolk carries vitamin D, healthy fats, and key nutrients that your muscles actually crave. Without it, the body is missing the very building blocks that make protein synthesis work the way it's supposed to. Studies show that older adults who eat whole eggs on a regular basis can increase their muscle protein synthesis by nearly 25%. That's huge. It's like giving your muscles permission to grow stronger instead of slowly wasting away. And the best part? It's such a simple, affordable food. Something you can make in minutes without complicated recipes or pricey powders. I think about how many people spend years fearing cholesterol and throwing away yolks, not realizing they were tossing out the very part that could keep their legs steady, their arms strong, and their balance firm. It's almost ironic, isn't it? We thought we were protecting our health, but in reality, we were stripping our bodies of one of nature's most complete muscle foods. So when you crack that egg in the morning, don't just separate it, embrace it. Scrambled, boiled, or poached, the whole egg works like a reset button for aging muscles. And when paired with something simple like vegetables or a slice of avocado, you're not just eating breakfast. You're fueling resilience, strength, and the freedom to keep doing the things you love. 3. Avocado. You might think of avocado as just a trendy food for toast, but for older adults, it can be a quiet game changer. Potassium is something our muscles absolutely need, not only to contract and relax properly, but also to keep the balance of fluids inside and outside the cells. Without enough of it, even the best exercise routine can feel harder, and recovery can drag on longer than it should. Avocados deliver that in spades, but they don't stop there. The monounsaturated fats inside them act like fuel for your body, helping your hormones, including those that protect lean muscle, work more smoothly. There was a small study where older adults simply added half an avocado to their daily meals. That's it. No complicated diet changes, no special shakes, just half an avocado. Over time, their muscle protein synthesis improved by nearly 20%. That's the body's natural way of saying, yes, I can rebuild. Yes, I can stay strong. It may sound simple, but that tiny boost can mean climbing stairs without huffing, lifting groceries with confidence, or even having the energy to keep up with grandkids. And the best part? Avocados are incredibly versatile. You can slice them on top of eggs, mash them into a quick spread, blend them into a smoothie, or even just eat a few cubes with a sprinkle of salt and pepper. For something so creamy and satisfying, it almost feels unfair that it's also working quietly to protect your strength. So next time you pass by the pile of avocados at the store, think of them not as a fad food, but as one of the simplest, most delicious tools you have to keep your muscles from slipping away. 4. Lean chicken or turkey. When most people think of poultry, they just see it as the healthier meat option. But for your muscles, lean cuts of chicken or turkey can be so much more than that. These proteins are naturally packed with leucine, one of the key amino acids your body needs to actually switch on the muscle-building process. Think of leucine as the spark plug. Without it, your engine can have fuel, protein, but it won't start running the way it should. That's why including foods high in leucine can make the difference between maintaining your strength and slowly losing it, even if you're already eating enough protein. And then there's the family of B vitamins found in lean poultry. These aren't just numbers on a nutrition label. B6, B12, niacin, riboflavin. They all help your body turn food into usable energy. Without them, it's like trying to run on a drained battery. Many older adults unknowingly run low on these vitamins, which can leave them feeling weaker, more tired, or less steady on their feet. A few slices of turkey breast or a serving of chicken stir-fry can quietly refill that tank. Clinical follow-ups have even shown that older adults who consistently included lean chicken or turkey in their weekly meals gained over 1 kilogram of lean muscle mass in just over a year. That may not sound dramatic, but think about what that means in daily life. Getting up from a chair without pushing off with your arms, carrying a bag of groceries without strain, or feeling steady enough to walk confidently on uneven ground. The best part is, poultry is easy to work into nearly any style of cooking. You can grill it, roast it, shred it into soups, or slice it onto salads. It's not flashy, but sometimes the most ordinary foods can quietly become the most powerful allies for your independence and strength. 5. Nuts and seeds. Sometimes the smallest foods can carry the biggest punch. A handful of nuts or seeds might not look like much on your plate, but inside they're loaded with the exact nutrients your muscles are craving. Omega-3s, for example, aren't just good fats. They actually help your muscle cells become more responsive, making it easier for your body to repair and build new tissue. That means every bit of protein you eat later in the day works harder for you. Then there's magnesium. Think of it as the quiet multitasker, helping your muscles contract smoothly, calming inflammation, and even supporting better sleep. Without enough of it, muscles feel tired, heavy, or prone to cramps. And zinc may be the most underrated of all. It's a mineral that supports testosterone and growth hormone, the very signals that tell your body, hey, let's keep building muscle. When you're low in zinc, your body simply doesn't get the message. One long-term study found that older adults who added nuts and seeds to their daily diet improved their grip strength by nearly 20%. That might sound like a small thing, but grip strength is a powerful predictor of overall health and independence. It's what helps you twist open a jar, hold onto a railing with confidence, or pick up your grandchild without fear of dropping them. The best part? Nuts and seeds fit seamlessly into almost any routine. Sprinkle chia or flax seeds onto your morning yogurt, toss almonds or walnuts into a salad, or just grab a small handful of mixed nuts as a mid-morning snack. They don't require cooking, they travel easily, and they bring your body a steady stream of the hidden helpers that keep your muscles firing. It's a simple habit, but one that can quietly change the way your body feels, making you steadier, stronger, and more resilient day by day. Muscles are a little like a savings account. When you're younger, you build up a big balance without even thinking about it. Every time you walk, climb stairs, or carry groceries, you're depositing into that account. But as the years pass, if you don't give your body the right nutrition, you slowly start making withdrawals, sometimes without realizing it, until one day you wake up and the account feels dangerously close to empty. That's why so many older adults are caught off guard by sudden weakness, slower recovery, or even unexpected falls. It isn't just age, it's years of not feeding that account properly. The good news? You can still make deposits, even later in life. And two of the strongest tools you have are surprisingly simple: the way you sleep and the way you start your morning. Sleep isn't just rest, it's your body's prime repair time. During those quiet hours, your muscles stitch themselves back together, hormones reset, and your body gets a chance to restore energy. But if you wake up and skip breakfast, or choose foods that work against you, it's like taking out cash right after payday. You never give your muscles a chance to actually grow that balance. That's why the first meal of your day matters more than most people realize. The right breakfast, rich in quality protein, healthy fats, and the key nutrients your body craves, flips the switch from breakdown to build. It's like telling your muscles, "Okay, here's your fuel, now get stronger." Even small adjustments can have an incredible ripple effect. More energy through the day, better balance, and less of that nagging fear that your body isn't keeping up. And here's the part that inspires me most. Over my years of practice, I've seen men and women in their 70s, even their 80s, completely rewrite the story of their bodies. One patient, a 74-year-old grandfather, thought his hiking days were over after a fall. But within a year of changing his morning routine, adding muscle-friendly foods and focusing on better sleep, he was back to climbing trails with his grandson. Another, an 80-year-old widow, joined a local dance class for the first time in decades. She told me, "I thought my legs were gone, but they just needed the right fuel." It's proof that muscle loss isn't a one-way street. With the right choices, starting with how you sleep and how you eat first thing in the morning, you can refill that account, sometimes faster than you expect. And with that strength comes freedom. The freedom to move, to play, to live the way you want, without fear holding you back. At the end of the day, it really comes down to simple choices. If you can step away from the 5 foods that quietly chip away at your strength and replace them with 5 that actively rebuild it, your body will notice the difference faster than you might think. It doesn't take months or years of waiting. For many people, just 2 or 3 weeks is enough to feel the shift. Walking feels steadier. Climbing stairs doesn't leave you breathless. And even the small things like carrying groceries or bending to tie your shoes suddenly feel lighter. That's not magic. It's your body responding the way it's designed to, once you finally give it the right tools. And here's the exciting part. You don't have to overhaul your entire life. You don't need complicated diets or expensive supplements. You simply start where it matters most: your breakfast plate. That first meal is like setting the tone for your entire day. Feed your muscles early, and they'll keep supporting you through everything else you do. I'd love to know what you think. As you listened, did any of these foods sound familiar from your own routine? Maybe you realized you've been leaning on one of the muscle enemies, or maybe you've already discovered the power of one of the muscle builders. Share your thoughts in the comments. I read them, and I try to respond whenever I can. Because here's the truth I want you to remember. Age is not a sentence. Weakness is not inevitable. The strength you thought was gone can absolutely come back, and it doesn't have to be complicated. It starts with the choices you make tomorrow morning. So when you wake up, look at your breakfast as more than just food. It's the first step back to confidence, independence, and the life you want to live.